I had paid off every last dollar of my debt, and within 1 year, I was back to where I started. If you've ever wondered why budgets fail, or why it's so easy to fall back into bad spending habits, then this video is for you. I'll show you the mistakes I made and explain why changing your behavior matters more than changing your bank balance. Because this wasn't really a story about debt. This is a story about bad habits. I'm curious, what's one bad financial habit which you've managed to break or is still trying to break? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. In my last video, I explained the importance of discussing and being open about your debt and your financial plan with your partner. Financial problems are a lot easier to work with when you're a team. Maybe this week have an honest conversation with your partner about money, debt, and your goals. I was in credit card debt, I had a personal loan, I had ZipPay, and I had Afterpay. Small debts can combine into one overwhelming problem. Write down every debt you have in one place. If I had have done this early on, it would have saved me one entire cycle of learning. It's easy to fall into the trap of purposely ignoring your bank balance and or your credit accounts. That's one thing that I did for a while, and unfortunately, one massive mistake I made was adding my credit card to my PayPal account. This was intended to be a one-time thing. We didn't have enough money, but we wanted Uber Eats, and I put in my credit card. That was the worst decision I made that year. Pretty much after about 2 weeks, I had forgotten that I put it on there, and due to my purposely ignoring my bank account and my credit accounts, I forgot it was on my PayPal, and I forgot it was set to my main transactional card. For the better part of a year, my credit card was on my PayPal account, and it was being used for every single purchase. This included Uber Eats. This included my dive into kickstarting board games. It went into buying board games just from the local stores. It went into my hobbies. It went into everything that PayPal was linked to became a credit card expense. After a year, I decided to actually have a look at my credit account and saw that I was $20 or $30 out, maxing out the $4,000. At this point here, now that I had acknowledged how much debt I was in, it didn't quite convince me to pay it off. Now I was like, well, now I know how much debt I'm in. So what I started to do was treat my credit account as a spending account. So as soon as I would pay off a couple $100, then that couple $100 would be accessible and was ready to spend on my next hobby. It was another year of this, of just floating above the water, being $4,500 in debt, then $5,000, then $4,500, then $5,000, and that's not including my Afterpay or ZipPay as well. After about a year of this, I realized that I really had to pay off all of my debt. I had to get rid of all of it. So what I did was I made a spreadsheet, and I figured out how much I could save per week. I made a budget of how much I was spending per week. I had to take out all of my personal spending on all my hobbies and everything that wasn't a necessity. And then the rest of our funds, that was allocated to paying off our debt. Once we had that budget set up, I set up a spreadsheet, which was very, very basic budgeting. It was a date, how much we paid off that week, and how much is left to pay off, so that we could just get some estimate of how long it would take to pay it off. Now, I can't recall the exact timeline, but I think after about 6 to 8 months, we'd paid off all of our Afterpay, our ZipPay, and our credit card. We started off with our Afterpay because Afterpay was, I like to have one thing always going at the time on Afterpay. As soon as something would finish up, I would be like, well, that's just like with my credit card, it's spending, it's accessible, it's ready to go. So I got that Afterpay, it was finished off, and then bam, another one straight away. We paid off that, and then we told ourselves we're not going to use Afterpay at all anymore until we clear all of our debt. Once we had off the Afterpay, it did feel good paying it off in advance, because for once I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm going to just use it again. I thought, well, I'm going to keep that up and then put it on ZipPay. Our spreadsheet showed, yep, we were hitting that target of we paid off Afterpay by a certain date. Now we're on to ZipPay, so then we're going through, and ZipPay at the time was about $1,500, so we were chucking in our spare cash straight into that, and we were actually hitting these goals of paying off the debt. The simple budget of date, how much you're paying and how much is left, was actually working. We were following it. We paid off our ZipPay, and then the big scary one of the $5,000 credit card, and we didn't skip a beat. We continued paying all that off, and now at this point here, the same time that we were paying off all of our debt, we were also trying to save for a wedding. So this did mean that paying off a debt did take longer than expected, but at the same time, we just didn't have the capacity financially to go into any more debt. So we actually had to save for our wedding mostly and just pay things off as they were coming up. I think we had about $2,000 or $3,000 left on the credit card. And I remember telling my fiance at the time, my now wife, I remember telling her, oh, I can't wait to pay it off, because as soon as we pay this, I'm buying this really expensive Magic the Gathering card. It costs like $1,200. I'm going to buy it, which just shows I was doing the right thing, but I wasn't thinking in the right mindset. I was just paying off money because I was fearful of ruining my life. We paid off the last couple $1,000, and then I was actually surprised because I did not go out and buy the Magic card. I thought, you know what, this is actually pretty good. I've kind of changed. Took off the credit card from the PayPal and all was good. We'd paid off our debt and we were now married. It felt like we were starting to succeed in life. Now, I mentioned at the start of this video, changing your bank balance doesn't matter as much as changing your mindset. Now, this really hits hard for me nowadays because when I had paid that off, I didn't cut it up. I didn't close any of my accounts. I think we were good for about 2 weeks, spent a little bit on ourselves and all that. We didn't have to pay off our debt, and then fell straight back into old habits. Within it must have been 6 months to a year, we were literally maxed out everything we paid off. We were straight back to where we started. It was basically like the entire 2 years of getting into debt, trying to pay it off, and then actually paying it all off and clearing it. It just didn't matter. We hadn't changed our mindset. We were the same people. We had to really think about how, well, I guess the problem is we weren't thinking. It wasn't good. Next week, I'd like to talk about the second time around of paying my debt and hoping I would learn my lesson at this point here. Thank you for making it this far in the video. If you enjoy my content, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos coming once a week. I think every Thursday or so I'm uploading at the moment. Thank you for making it this far in the video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed my content and subscribe if you want to see more. There'll be another one next Thursday. See ya.